Well, joining me exclusively is Alan Kestenbaum, former Stelco CEO and chairman, and Ancora's nominee to be the new head of U.S. Steel. It's great to have you here on set. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
So there's a lot to dig into, but the first thing I want to start with is the fact that what's being put forward by Ancora and what you're proposing to do as their nominee for CEO is to turn U.S. Steel around and to do so as a publicly traded standalone company that does not need to be acquired by somebody else. How do you do that, especially when everybody, including U.S. Steel, is saying there needs to be some sort of acquisition because there needs to be some sort of infusion of capital to update the plants? Yeah.
Well, let me start by saying the Nippon deal is dead. It's been killed. President Biden killed it. The folks in the Trump administration have spoken out against it for a very, very long time. So, you know, the notion that the Nippon deal is an option is gone. So now what's left is you have a company run by a CEO. CEO has done a very, very poor job in running the company. And it kind of breaks my heart because I grew up in the steel industry, and I actually know that I could take this company and actually restore it to its greatness. And I came up with this acronym, MUSCA, Make U.S. Steel Great Again. And why I'm the person to do it and how I'm going to do it, it's very simple. I bought Stelco from U.S. Steel. It was in the exact same condition. Very, very low morale, very poor earnings, high cost of production. And I bought that company in 2017 from them. At the time, it was just losing money. They lost $1.4 billion in that investment. I bought it for $53 million from them. 4 months later, I took it public for a valuation of $1.7 billion. I then made and returned to shareholders $2 billion. I put $1 billion into CapEx, and I made it the lowest cost steel producer in North America. And so when you ask me about what I can do with these plants, Dave Burritt has said he's going to shut these plants down. Well, first of all, he's just shooting from the hip, because if you shut those plants down, you also need to shut the mines down. And the mines are one of the most valuable assets that the company has. So it's just a sort of irresponsible statement that he made. And my plan would be to do exactly what I did at Stelco and to rebuild those plants, particularly the ones he talked about. Mont Valley and Gary have the opportunity to be even lower cost than Stelco. So I can take those plants, make them very, very profitable, turn them around from where they are today with some very similar techniques as I did at Stelco.
You mentioned the Nippon deal is dead. It's not actually dead. I mean, it was hung at CFIUS, and then President Biden at the time decided, it was the deciding vote, and basically blocked the deal. But CFIUS has since extended the implementation of that block by 6 months, so this can go through a court process. So we still need to, if they decide to, they still need to proceed through that channel. We've heard from U.S. Steel. We just read it at the beginning of this. And there have even been some analysts that have raised this. And that is questions about dealings with Cleveland-Cliffs and whether you're, quote unquote, doing the bidding, essentially, of Cleveland-Cliffs in this process, which we know has put offers forward and is still very interested in buying U.S. Steel. Your response?
Yes. Well, first of all, let me respond to the first point. The deal actually is dead. The court process that is being pursued, there is no precedent of any court process prevailing in such a situation. So the fact that they decided to start a lawsuit does not make the deal not dead. The deal is dead. There's no basis for the lawsuit. To say that the president didn't have the authority when he clearly did have the authority is not really a lawsuit. So I expect they're going to lose the lawsuit. In terms of Cleveland-Cliffs, I have nothing to do with Cleveland-Cliffs. I'm an independent businessman. I just sold my business to Cleveland-Cliffs. And I love the steel industry, and I have a tremendous track record, as I mentioned before, in turning around steel companies, not just Stelco. Before that was Globe Specialty Metals I turned around, which was also left for dead. And so to me, looking at the storied history of this company and thinking about the employees I encountered at Stelco and at Globe who were depressed and thinking they're going to be out of jobs, and then you read their own CEO, their own boss telling them they're going to be out of jobs when actually you can go fix the company and make it super profitable. That's what drives me. I have nothing to do with Cliffs. This is what I want to do, and this is what I plan to do, which is to keep it as a standalone public company and make it successful.